All right, Jeff. So thanks for joining us. Love to hear a little about what you're working on at FSO. So maybe you
Sure.
could tell us a little about how you got into real estate and maybe what you're focused on.
So yeah, I've been in the multifamily business here in Phoenix for about 16 years. Started in 2007, brokered multifamily until 2017, 18, and then started FSO Capital in 2020. Kind of got onto the principal side of the business and acquiring assets after brokering deals. So I third generation Arizona native and always liked being in the apartment business here.
It's a great market. You can't beat the weather.
Yeah.
Awesome weather. It's great to see the development going on. Tell me a little about how you look to partner with people. How do you think about partnerships? How do you think about capital?
So we really are focused on like friends and family office equity for the most part. And as we grew, we started growing those relationships. We really would rather have fewer partners than more. It's easier to do repeat business with people that know you and trust you. And so that's really been our focus this entire time. Is just kind of growing organically, little by little.
But do you have a niche you like to go after with the properties or your type of investments? Or do you have a thesis, certain size or certain?
We're very focused on low-income housing tax credit assets. There's an inherently smaller buyer pool. It is slightly more complex than a typical multifamily deal, and so fewer people show up to try to buy those deals. We also just generally believe there's a lot of value in buying those assets, as you tend to be able to purchase those deals at a lower price basis, and over time those restrictions can go away. So you start in at a low price, but over time you kind of end up in the same world as a lot of these normal market rate deals, if you have the time to sit there and wait for that to happen.
To a much longer term view, you have time on your side versus other people who sometimes have time against them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 37, so I've got some time to sit there and let these assets sort of work for themselves here.
So tell me a little about maybe what you've seen and what people who haven't seen cycles before. Do you see some people in trouble that maybe you're coming to rescue or help and work with?
I think that the big mistake people make is leverage and not leveraging properly. If you've been through a bad down cycle, you viscerally understand how dangerous leverage is. I mean, my favorite saying is leverage is soft like a pillow on the way up, sharp like a sword on the way down. And we've really seen that come into play, particularly with floating rate debt for obvious reasons. And so I do think there are going to be a lot of opportunities in that space, but they just have not come around yet. And so it's a function of just being patient, waiting for that to present itself.
You were talking earlier, you were speaking on one of the sessions about technology, innovation.
Sure.
How do you think about that? Do you have a thesis around that technology players can be more profitable, if you're using technology?
So I absolutely think you can leverage technology to be more efficient, to get more done, to have smaller teams. But when you're thinking about creating alpha in an investment platform, you look at the multifamily market, let's say over the last 20 years, it went from being a more niche business to very mainstream. And in that same vein, I think technology is going to make the multifamily business even more mainstream than it is today, and even more institutional. And so, as an owner, operator, and investor, I try to find, what specializations can we pursue that to a certain extent can shelter me from the more perfect information available in the market, which is sort of why we're gravitating more towards low-income housing, because I do think, there's the higher degree of complexity is more in the legal and title aspects of the deal, which are a little bit more difficult to streamline through, technology. Whereas apartments, back in the day, you used to just know a building across the street was under renting units, and today you can just open up your computer and figure out what market rent should be within about 10 minutes.
What was something that you're looking at for 2025, maybe optimistic about, you're excited for?
I mean, I think we're going to see a bottom in the market as it relates to operations. I feel pretty strongly that towards the end of 2025, we're going to see the Phoenix market rebound and start to climb out of sort of this downturn a little bit more slowly. I also believe that we're going to start seeing more opportunities in that distress on these broken value-add deals that transacted in 21 and 22.
Tell me a little about leadership and mentorship. Did you have people who mentored you, and do you try to do the same to others, in real estate?
Yeah, it was instrumental in my career, having a mentor and finding people that can really show you the ropes and allow you to bounce stuff off of them. I still have people like that in my life, and I think it's really an important mandate for every professional to find younger or less experienced people and take them under your wing. And that's kind of we're in an apprenticeship industry. It's very difficult to learn everything in a book, if not impossible. And most of the lessons are learned over cycles and not in days, and so it's really important to have those relationships. And if you experience that benefit, I think you have to pass that along.
How did you get into real estate? What was it more family? Was it more, did someone who gave you advice? What was
really random? I mean, I was at ASU, was looking for a summer internship my freshman year, and I was commiserating with a friend about how I lost an internship in finance, and she said, well, you should go talk to my dad. He's an apartment broker. And I interned for him for a month and a half, and then ended up working for him, and then partnered with him for a decade. So yeah, kind of fell into it.
Tell me about the team. Are you a small team, larger team? Are you growing?
We're a small team. We're 7 total people. I've got 2 business partners, and we've got 2 asset management professionals. 1 person that focuses on acquisitions and our refinances and sort of escrow management, so to speak, and then another person that focuses on our accounting, distributions, acts as our controller, and our tax returns. So small, nimble team. We'd like to grow, but you can't really force that in our industry. You kind of let the market present itself, and you grow with it. So that's where we're at right now.
Something you also mentioned, obviously, need more deals. We need more deals to happen. I'm kind of curious, as we get into the holidays, a lot of businesses tend to slow down around Christmas and New Year's.
Absolutely.
Do you see, and do you think that this year, that time period will actually speed up a little bit? There might be more deals trying to be done in the end of the year, or is it traditionally just a quiet time?
It's going to be
pushed till January.
I think it's going to be quiet.
Okay.
People were really waiting for the election to put deals on the market, and now we're approaching Thanksgiving, and people, at least in the multifamily industry, will wait until the National Multi-Housing Conference, which is in January, to get deals on the market. And so I think that probably on a pause for most new launches, but probably really good deals will come to fruition now, because there's obviously a motivation associated with it. Because if you're not motivated, you're going to go to market and probably January.
Yeah, I think that's the end of the month, right? Like January 27th, 28th, Vegas this year. So should be a good event.
Exactly.
Great. And so have you gone to that event?
I've gone every year.
Okay. Right. And then, IEvent, is this your first time in, or you've been to several?
I've been to several around the country and always found them to be good events.
Right. So the main thing you're looking for here is that deal flow generally, or partnerships? Okay.
Deal flow, partnerships. It's always just good to bump into other people I know.
Yeah.
It's easy when it's down the street.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Great. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I'll
Really
see you soon.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
cheers.
Thank you.